is going on, guys? Zacak the Beast here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Now, if you've been a fan of the channel for some time, or have been following what I've been doing on my second channel, then you'll know that I play my fair share of Block Party. If you don't know what that is, basically you're put onto a floor with other players and are given a color to stand on. If you're not standing on the right color after a certain amount of time, the floor falls from beneath you and you're eliminated. The rounds get increasingly faster until you can't keep up and the last person left standing is the victor. I like to think I'm pretty good at the game, so I joined a double elimination, randomly seeded tournament in the hopes that I could do pretty well and possibly even win. I got seeded as 28th in the bracket, with my first match being up against a fellow King of Dance rank, boasting nearly 1,300 more games played than myself, Tihoy. While they may have had the raw experience advantage, having played 1,300 more games than myself, I had nearly 800 more victories, making me feel fairly confident going into our match. Just before our scheduled match time, we warmed up together, in which I was performing very well. Things were looking up, and so, our time to face off had arrived. With a referee in our party and the rules laid out to us, it began. Now would probably be a good time to mention that the tournament format is a 1v1 between players, where a point is awarded to whoever stays alive the longest. If the round ends in a tie, no points are awarded, and the first to three would take the match. Round 1 went swimmingly, reaching all the way to wave 21 before my opponent missed a jump and plummeted to the void below. Round 2 was cancelled as a power-up was taken, and power-ups were against the rules to be used in this tournament as they promoted too much luck in the decision-making of the winner. Round 3 went favorably, as I won in wave 8, with a combination of bad positioning and bad luck taking out my opponent. Things were looking up as we came into round 4, and with a 2-0 lead, I was feeling confident. This round came very close, running all the way to wave 23 before I was able to bring victory into my arms. With my first match ending in a very solid 3-0 sweep, I moved up the bracket to face off against my next opponent. Now, admittedly, nothing about this next player immediately jumped out at me, being only a Dominator rank and having played the game significantly less than myself. However, running into them on the practice server resulted in some scarily close scores, and overall, very similar gameplay between the two of us. This was Holt House 6. At a first glance, this looked like it could truly go either way, but as our time to face off neared, the experience advantage worked to my favor, as nerves began to creep up and throw off my opponent. With the referee to join us, the match began. Round 1 worked to my favor, with a tough spot in the corner of the map being the deciding factor. Round 2 was significantly closer than I hoped it would be, going all the way to the final wave 25 before a quick reaction time won me the round. Round 3 ended in a tie, with an unlucky color in the center of the map being chosen. Round 4 also ended in a tie, with yet another unlucky color near the border of the map being chosen this time. As we arrived at the late speed waves of round 5, I made a fatal mistake, not positioning myself further right from where I was standing, causing me to give up a point and make the score 2-1. Luckily, round 6 I was able to sneak a win, due to an unfortunate jump made by my opponent on wave 23. Alrighty, another win in the bank, moving me up the bracket yet again to my next opponent, Siclaune. This was a heart attack when I saw it, being someone I had played against on the practice server and lost to time and time again. I had even been warned by other players of this certain player's pure skill and ability to make seemingly impossible jumps. While the stats might not immediately reveal anything too frightening, you would be sorely mistaken to underestimate this opponent, as they were one of the most skilled in the game. I started putting in work to try and lower my reaction time. And so, with all the practice I had managed to squeeze in, it was time for our match. We got a referee in our party, and it was underway. Round 1 came right down to the wire, reaching all the way to the final wave 25. I managed to make a jump that my opponent was not by being in a more favorable position for the color chosen, and earned myself a point. On round 2, things got a little strange when Siclaune missed a jump on wave 21 that was entirely possible. One of the best players missing a jump like that? It was certainly strange, and was actually the result of a glitch in their mouse that caused their head to snap further than wanted and left no time for correction. However, with my footage being the only available recording of it, as the referees had got corrupted and Siclaune wasn't recording, the ruling had to be made that it was a mistake, as there was no proof to suggest otherwise. To be perfectly honest, I was glad it had counted, as I would need every point I could take. Round 3 had an unfortunate ending when I picked an absolutely terrible spot to stand in, causing me to lose the point. Round 4 resulted in a tie, with an unlucky color on the outside being chosen. Round 5 ended up as another loss for me, as I tried to go to a spot I knew nothing about and ended up paying the price for it. Remember what I said earlier about needing every point I could get? Well, this was it. All tied up, 2-2. No way I could let myself get reverse swept like this. Round 6 ended in a tie on wave 24, with a poor color being selected. And then yet again on round 7, an unlucky color was chosen, this time at wave 21. It all came down to this. Round 8, 2-2. Winning this round meant winning the whole match and moving up in the bracket. And then, on wave 24, it all came crashing down. I missed a jump I should have easily made and blew a 2-0 lead over one of the best in the game. But ladies and gentlemen, if you've been paying close attention, then you would know that my tournament was far from over. This was a double elimination bracket, meaning you would need to lose 2 matches to be fully out. As I had lost 1 match so far, I was moved to the losers bracket. If I could make it through the entire losers bracket, I would have a shot against the winner of the main bracket, and thus still had an ability to win the tournament. This, however, would require pushing myself to my absolute limits. I started putting in crazy hours on the Block Party practice server and on Hive as well. My reaction time had finally reached a point I was satisfied with, but there was still one major flaw with my performance. My knowledge of spots was mediocre at best. I enlisted the help of my friend Radioactive Droid, who I knew had a program that would calculate optimized standing locations for any given floor based on the speed round. He graciously showed me how to use this tool, and with this much power in my possession, I took it as far as it would go. With all the results I had gathered, I laid them out on a spreadsheet, marking up different locations for even more specific situational use, trying my best to learn new spots and erase the bad muscle memory habits of spots I had created myself. Was a tough overhaul to make, but a necessary one. In the days and weeks to come, I would improve my own skill with the game to a new level I didn't see myself reaching in such a short amount of time. If I was ever ready to win my way back into the tournament, this was the time. All that was left was for me to study my next opponent, Juna. Alright, let's just take a peek here at the leaderboards, just to see where this Juna person is. Wait. What? Yeah, you saw that right. My next opponent was the 3rd ranked player in the world. Now, allow me to clarify something quickly. Usually, being high up on the leaderboard wouldn't directly correlate with your actual skill level at the game. However, having over 2 million points and more than 40,000 more games played than myself meant that just by virtue of playing the game over and over again, their skills would be incredibly refined, no matter the player. And this is forgetting to mention that Juna in and of themselves is very good at the game. All my practice, everything I had worked towards, was leading me to this moment, a showdown against the number 3 ranked player. Yet again, it was time for the match. With a referee in our party, and me psyched out of my mind, it began. The first round ended with me making a beautifully timed, victorious jump to safety on wave 23, using one of my newly learned spots to guide me in my success. Round 2 ended with a massive misjudgment on my part. I had lost track of the rounds and thought that we were at the last speed possible, causing me to jump forward as soon as I saw the color, and not use any of the extra time I had to run forward towards it. This ultimately made me come up short, as you might expect, and cost me a point. And then, on round 3, I pulled off this move. Yeah, not my greatest moment. Now the score was 2-1 against me, and the pressure began to build. One more slip-up would cost me the whole tournament. And I was determined not to let that happen. Round 4 ended with a tie on wave 23, being a color that I technically should have been able to make it to, but wasn't really prepared for. Round 5 ended swiftly on wave 21, with an unlucky color in the center of the map being chosen. And then, on round 6, this happened. Yeah, not quite how I wanted that to go.